right? The database server is abstract of the client's roles and authorization, right? It just gets the request and it executes them and sends back the response to the client, right? Now, where do we use the client server architecture system? Now, client server architecture system we use mostly in startups, in home businesses. Why? Because since we have limited number of clients, we know there we can see which user is being granted which request, right? Which role, right? If the user is admin or if the user is having a read access, so we can segregate among them, right? But let's say your user base is increasing day by day, right? Let's say your user base is increasing day by day. So you want to segregate, you want to divide the responsibility of the users who are accessing your database servers, right? Now, what do I mean by segregating the responsibility? That is, let's say you have a user 1 and you have a user 2, right? Now, this is admin. This is some read, this is some user with read access, right? Read access only. Now what happens is you have a database. You have a database. एक second यार. So you have an admin user and you have a read access, right? Read access user. Let's say this is U1, U1, and this is U2, right? Now what happens is, since admin is the controller, is the owner of the service, that is the DB, right? That is the DB. अरे क्या हो गया? Database, right? So this is the owner of the database. So what you can do see is that whenever it requests the database will send back the response, right? The database will send back the response. That is fine. But let's say your read access, the read user, it can query on the basis of whatever statement you want to execute, that is select, update, read, and write, right? Whatsoever it can request the database. Now, if you're a read user, now this should not be able to do the, it should only be able to do the request on the basis of, let's say, select, only select, because the read requests are usually associated with that select command in SQL. That is why I'm explaining with the select statement, right? Or the read operations, right? Let's say, let's give it a write operation also, right? I am giving it a, that is, hey, please execute write operation. Now if I'm saying execute the write operation, since it is a two-tier architecture system, our user base is low. Now I know that, hey, you cannot execute the write operation. That is, whenever this request will go, this will automatically be not catered, right? This will automatically not catered because I can access this, right? Also, now if your malicious user comes, let's say this was your authentic users, and now if your malicious user come, let's say there is a U2, U3, right? U3 delete, which is not presented in your database, right? Which is not present in your database. Now what can happen is, it can execute a delete command. It can even execute a delete command. Now if it executes a delete command, your database doesn't know, right? You don't even know that what user it is. You're not querying, you're not doing any authorization over here for the user. You know which user it is, right? Let's say U1 is sending the request in front of you, U2 is sending the request in front of you, that's fine. But U3 you don't have the context of. U3 is some anonymous user which is trying to hamper your database, right? Now if it sends the delete commands, now since I told that database is abstracted, right? It doesn't know about the roles of the user. It only knows that I am getting a request and I should be sending a response. So whenever it sends a delete request, the database or the DBMS will execute that request and send the response. Now what happened in this case? In this case, your vulnerability, right? vulnerability increases because you don't have any authorization mechanism over here. You know about your users, but you cannot handle your unauthorized users, right? Your vulnerability increases. It's less scalable, right? Let's say you have this. You have only one instance, right? Now, if let's say I am U1 and U1 up to U1 up to U100 are catering can be catered along with only one service, right? Only one service. Now, let's say your user base increases. Now, your user base increases from, wait a second, guys, U101 to U200. Now, user base increases 100 twice more, right? So, first of all, your 100 users were catering through database, and now your more 100 user come. Then you have to, what you have to do is you have to build a same machine, because let's say this machine is not capable of serving more requests. You have to build the same machine, and then you have to write the whole logic which you had written earlier over here, and then cater the same database, cater the same users as it is, right? But what is the issue in this is that every time your user base is increasing, you are expanding your machines and you are rewriting the code itself again and again, right? You have to distribute the load. You have to see that, hey, if my u1 up to from u1 to u100 requests come, then I have to go to database 1, then database 2, d2, right, and then up to dn, right? So this is the disadvantage. To overcome this disadvantage, what do we have is we have three tier client architecture system, right? We have three tier client architecture system where we have an application layer, or we say business logic layer. Now, this is the main part of this three-tier architecture system. Else is same as the two-tier architecture system. Only the addition is application server or the business logic layer, right? Now, what is the responsibility of this layer, right? What is the responsibility? The responsibility of this layer is to segregate the request coming in and filter the request on the basis of the authorization roles or the type of request, and then send it to the database server. Now, our database server is not directly accessible by the clients, right? It is abstracted from the clients. It is protected from the clients. Now, the database server is connected via a application server. Let's say your u1 comes, right? u1 comes, and here it is an application layer. Let's say this is an application layer, al1, right? Application layer, and here I have a database, right? I have d1, database 1, right? I have a d1. Now, what do I need to do? Wait a second. Huh. Now, my application layer, let's say u1 sends some request. Now it is an admin user. The application logic layer will perform some operations, that is authorization, authentication. First of all is authentication, then authorization, right? Auth, authenticate, authorize, right? And then like identify the request, send to server, send to DB, and then get response from DB, right? And then get response from DB, send back to user, right? So these are various operations which the application layer forms, right? Performs. Now, let's say this was a valid user. It will authenticate, application layer will authenticate the user. It will authorize the user because first of all, hey, it is admin user. Now, whether admin is authorized to query on the database one, yes, it is authorized. What kind of query it is being executed, right? Let's say admin has access to all of the select, update, write, insert, or delete. Now identify the request, send to DB. That is, whenever the request is authenticated, now what will it do? It will send the request to DB, right? It will send the request to DB here. Now, once I have gotten the response from DB itself, then it will send it back to the then it will send it back to the this your user, right? Send it back to the user. Now let's say it was not a admin user, right? Now let's say it was a only the read access user, right? Now application layer will determine, yes, authorization is success, authentication is successful. Authorization, whether the read access, let's say it is delete command, right? Delete command, whether this user is able to, is authorized to execute the command, right? If it is authorized to execute the delete command, then it will identify the request that what kind of delete command is being executed on the database. Let's say I am executing delete star from students table, right? Now I have two commands, students where id is less than 10. Now first of all, it is delete, it is let's say my right user, access user. Now it will identify request. It is exactly one, yes, it I need to identify what kind of delete command is. If it is delete star from students, I will say not authorized. Why? Because whenever you use delete or update, you need to have the where statement. Otherwise, it will affect all the students. Unless it is an admin user, then I can like authorize user to use this command, but it is simply a write user. It is not allowed to use a delete command without a where clause. Right? Now, since it is a delete command, it will be authorized. It will be authorized. Now, it will go to the same database and it will get the response and then will send back to the right user, right? Right user. Now let's say your another malicious user comes, right? Malicious user comes, malicious u3, right? Now it says that, hey, I want to execute, let's say, read command or even update command. Now it will do the authenticate. Now this user will not be registered into your application, right? This user will not be registered into your application. So the first step will be failing itself. The first step will be failing itself, not approved. ठीक है, not approved. Now if it is not approved, then your request fails over here and then it will throw an error. It will throw an error response over here. Hey, you are not approved, right? So these are the basic advantages which our three tier architecture system gives us, right? Just give me a minute, guys. Just give me 2 minutes, guys.